Hey everyone, Bill Lethman here with Money Evolution. In this video, I'm going to be talking about why understanding your taxes is so important to your retirement planning. So this video is part of an entire series that we're doing to launch our upcoming retirement planning course called the Retirement Time Machine. So if you're watching this video and you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can head over to retirementtimemachine.com. There's a great overview video there. And if you like, you can enter your email address so you can be among the first to know about some of our upcoming live trainings that we're going to do to lead into that, and also when our course actually goes live. Now, in my last video, I talked about the retirement map and kind of creating that timeline of those different phases that I think you might go through in retirement. And the reason why that's so important, not only to help you to discover what those gaps are and kind of planning out some of the withdrawals that you might need to take out of your retirement accounts, but it's also very important as well to figure out maybe how your tax bracket is going to change over time. So if you think about it, again, while you're working right now, you're likely going to be in a higher income tax bracket, probably than you would likely be in retirement. And again, we want to understand what that bracket is. We also want to understand how all of the different sources of income may be taxed and what rates they're going to be taxed at. You may go through a phase where we have your early retirement, and a lot of times I'll often refer to that as the low tax years. And that's really, I think for most of us, where we have some really special opportunities. Maybe in that early stage of retirement when maybe it's before Social Security's kicked in, maybe before a pension benefit, maybe you've got some money saved up in some after-tax accounts that you can live off for a while. And we talk about things like Roth conversions and things like that. It's also very important to understand these taxes as well for some of your saving strategies. And it's not just what you're going to be doing in retirement, but if we understand right now that we're in a very high tax bracket, maybe it makes sense to do more of the traditional types of retirement accounts and get that tax deduction, lower you into a lower tax bracket. But we also want to understand what that tax bracket is going to be early at your full retirement age, and then also the kind of later stage where something called RMDs, or required minimum distributions, kick in. That's at age 72 as the current law stands today. And what that means is that once you reach age 72, you are mandated by the IRS to start taking distributions from your retirement accounts. And so understanding, based on the amount of money that you have saved today, what those distributions are going to be in the future is very, very important. What a lot of people may recognize is that those RMDs could be pushing you up into a higher tax bracket, maybe even than you were while you're working, or maybe especially higher than maybe what it was in those early years. So understanding this, and it kind of, again, relates to that map and having this all kind of figured out of what those different phases are and how your tax brackets are going to be adjusted over that period of time. So I know taxes can be really complicated. I think for most of us, we probably have either somebody else doing our taxes for us, or we're using something like a TurboTax or something to do our taxes. And what ends up spitting out are dozens of different pages and and numbers that really kind of seem for the average person to be very hard to make sense of. So what we've done with the Retirement Time Machine course is kind of walk you through a series of worksheets step by step, things that you can do very easily. If you have your tax return there, or if you know some of these key figures, you can go through and figure out how your taxes actually work. And I think that's, again, one of those big mysteries that a lot of us have, is not understanding how different kinds of income is taxed differently. For example, income from earnings versus maybe income from a pension, how Social Security benefits are taxed, how your dividend income or capital gains taxes, and how that all kind of flows together. So we've kind of boiled this down to, I think, about 6 different worksheets that are very simple to go through in helping you understand, for example, here in this worksheet, your FICA taxes and what that is and how that gets capped out at certain income levels. We're going to go through, there's one for you and your spouse, and then we're going to go through and help you figure out capital gains and how that all works too, because you've got long-term, you've got short-term, you've got long-term gains, long-term losses, short-term gains, short-term losses. How does that all kind of net itself out? So again, we've got the worksheets, but we've also got the videos that go along with that to really help you to understand that. We've got some very simple worksheets here to kind of put this all together. Looking at what your ordinary income tax rates are, and then figuring that all out of where you might be hitting different thresholds and everything. We also talk a lot too. Right now, we have what are known as the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act rates that was put into effect in 2018, which created pretty much across the board a lower tax bracket for almost every income tax category there. And it also did some changes to the standard deduction, eliminated some exemptions, and that's going to go away in 2025. So that's important too. We've got a lot of discussion in here about that as well. And so again, whether you participate in the course or not, this is stuff that you should be kind of looking at, paying attention to, and maybe looking at where your income brackets are today, and then seeing, okay, if I'm still working in 2026 when those current tax rates expire, what tax bracket am I going to be in at that time? That's going to be very important for you to understand. And again, it goes into really a couple of different things. It goes into maybe where you're saving that money today to really optimize some of the resources and some of the money that you're putting away for retirement. Should you do traditional? Should you do Roth? What do you do if you've already maxed out your 401k plan? Where would be the next category that you should be taking a look at? So we get into all of that in the course, and we're going to walk you through those worksheets step by step with a lot of video instruction, getting into all of that detail and everything. And when we're done with that whole process, having you walk away with a much better understanding of what your income tax situation may look like right now, and also what that income tax situation may look like in the future. So again, we can help you to make some more informed decisions about maybe where you should be saving money, what types of accounts, traditional or Roth. Also, though, when you do in fact retire, what should you be doing in that time as well? Where should you be drawing money? Which accounts should you take money out from first? Should you be doing a Roth conversion? In fact, one of my favorite worksheets in here that I love, and I created all these worksheets myself here, and see if we can pull that up. Yeah, how much to convert to a Roth IRA. So we've boiled this down to just one page. So if you've ever wondered if you're trying to target a certain income tax bracket, how much money you should convert to a Roth IRA with all of the other sources of income, with your standard deduction or itemized deductions, really kind of coming up with a bottom line number of what that conversion should be. And again, it's all about what is my tax bracket today, what is that tax bracket going to be in the future, and how do you best optimize that? And that's, again, something we've talked about in a lot of videos here on the channel. It's probably one of our most popular topics, in fact, but in the course, we've got the worksheets that will take you through that step by step. So anyway, I hope you're walking away with a good amount of information here. Just a couple things to think about as you're putting together your plans for retirement, thinking about taxes. And again, if you want to learn more about the Retirement Time Machine course, you can head over to retirementtimemachine.com and check that page out. And we'd love to see you in the live trainings. That's where we're going to be able to ask me questions directly. We're going to have a kind of a group setting, but I'll be kind of going through some of these topics, maybe showing some highlights of the course, giving everyone a little bit of a teaser on that. And then you'll be able to ask questions about the course or anything else that you might have questions on, and make it a real interactive forum. So anyway, with that, enjoy, and we'll see you back in the next video.